Hello everyone, happy Friday. My name is Samir, and if you are a new viewer, then you are watching KamenRider Blackman. And lucky for you, I'm doing my first movie review today, and right now, mainly because for the whole week after doing like my last video, go check it out if you want to. I was thinking about, okay, so what do I want to do for Friday, or for this weekend in general? So, I should probably get like a schedule in mind to plan stuff out. But either way, today it's going to be a movie review. And today I will be reviewing the KamenRider x KamenRider Gaim Drive Movie War Full Throttle. Try saying that 5 times. And I will not. And so, this movie is the KamenRider Gaim and KamenRider Drive team up, and this is honestly my second time watching this, and I enjoy it a lot more. So let's start off at the beginning. So we start off at Planet Helheim, and this is, by the way, this movie is canon, so it's happening after the Gaim series and during the events of Drive. So, we start from Planet Helheim, where it's now being invaded by the main villains of this movie, called the Mega Hex. And I guess for right now, it's just one person that's invading it, since the Mega Hex itself is a planet. And this one alien comes down to to invade Helheim and fuse it with the Mega Hex, so he can become one perfect being. And the Mega Hex is, as an individual, the Mega Hex is actually pretty cool because it can read memories and manifest them into machines. That is very cool and interesting, and it's going to play a big part later. So, the Mega Hex comes down to absorb or try to fuse with the planet Helheim, and Mai is first to be captured, and Kota immediately begins to fight the Mega Hex in a great fight scene because he transforms and goes into Kiwami and pulls out all the stops, because that's the point of Kiwami form. You have an unlimited arsenal of weapons at your disposal, but that form itself, I'll get into it once I get to Gaim, the series that is. Like I said, the Kota and the Mega Hex guy, they have their fight. And a great fight scene though, because like I said, Kota's using any weapon he has in his arsenal, and they're flying and whatnot, crashing into things. And there's this one scene where the Mega Hex then reads Kota's memories and immediately starts to head towards Earth. So, now leading the fight to Earth, the Mega Hex leaves Helheim and heads to planet Earth, and Kota flies after him. Kota flies after him. Interesting thing about that is Kota is an overlord that can fly and breathe into space, but Goku and Vegeta can't fly or even survive in space unless you're Bardock trying to kill Frieza. I'm a Dragon Ball Z fan. I can find a bunch of things to compare it to. But anyway, once the fight comes to Earth, Mega Hex makes its presence and supposedly kills Kota, because here's the thing, they're both in the air, but Mega Hex stabs Mega Hex stabs Kota in the chest, and he immediately then falls down. de-transforming from Kiwami, from Space God, to just regular Kota, and supposedly explodes. And Kota is assumed dead. Now, with Kota assumed dead, like, for right now on Earth, the only armored rider that even can stand a chance against them is Michi, because he's the only one who still has their Sengoku driver. But that soon changes once the Mega Hex brings back my favorite character from Gaim, Professor Ryoma, as well as giving him a new form too. Dragon Fruit Arms. Wait, no, I take that back. Dragon Fruit Energy Arms. Now let's talk about that form. It's not bad. He's a dragon fruit now. And, it's red and blue. It's pretty. Like, change, feel-wise, it's not entirely different. But it's not entirely different from the blue and yellow. But the red and blue, and the fact that it's a dragon fruit, I'll be alright with that. So yeah. Ryoma comes in, he does, and Michi doesn't stand a chance against them, which forces them to retreat. Now, one more thing. In this movie, we do not have a lot of side characters to focus on or names to remember. Unlike in Gaim, where there are like so many side characters and so many names to remember. And in the show, I don't even think I remember hearing half of their names. But our side characters in this movie are the former beat riders. So Bravo, Oren, the Acorn guy whose rider name I don't remember, but Junichi, and yeah, Knuckle Zack. Oh, and of course Zangetsu's there, Takatora, because actually this next part is going to be important for him, because once the beat riders retreat, Mai reaches out to Michi, asking for their help, and gives him a Helheim fruit for Takatora. And I just remembered something, but I'll bring it up later. So yeah, Michi now has Takatora then grabs the Helheim fruit and gets a melon lock seed, which is good. Actually, it's perfect because I'm going to say this now. The Mega Hex, whenever the Mega Hex brings back something from the Gaim series, whether it's the Kurokage or a rider, they could be destroyed, but the drivers would still be intact and fine. So that's how Takatora gets a Sengoku driver so that he can become Zangetsu. And with that said, the two brothers, they now go and fight the Mega Hex. And boy, it's specifically these two characters that make this part for me, because they're both, Kota played such an influence on both of them for Michi and Takatora, because they're out fighting not only to save the planet, but they're both out fighting for redemption. Now, while watching this movie, I was thinking, like, Takatora himself, I never really viewed him as a bad guy, like, because I've seen Gaim, of course, so once I understood Takatora's character, I understand that he's not really a bad guy, but I get what he means on how he wants to now take this real chance to save the world the right way. And for Michi, it actually is about redemption. And so, yeah, once again, get more into that once I get to the show. But yeah, it's just, I love how this movie is canon, because it picks up where it left off, and it closes it, then it closes it much better than it did in the show. And I relish that so much, and I love Gaim. But what I was gonna say, yeah. So Michi is one quick thing. Yeah. So yeah, Michi, finally he's able to save Michi. Michi saves Mai from the inside of the Mega Hex. He saves her, and Takatora and Ryoma, they have their final fight. And boy, is it a good fight. And of course, Takatora wins, because he's proven before that just because you have a Genesis driver doesn't mean you'll win like immediately. I gotta stop spoiling stuff. Anyway, so yeah, Takatora and Professor Ryoma, they have their fight. Takatora wins. Professor Ryoma explodes, which is how Takatora gets a Genesis driver, which is still fine because Michi still had the melon energy. Which is good because Michi still had the melon energy lock seed. And once Zangetsu sees the Mega Hex, they now fight, and Takatora puts up a good fight. And I'm just saying that in general, none of the riders, well, a few riders from Gaim show they have some type of martial arts prowess. Or at least, but Takatora, he puts up a good fight against the Mega Hex. Until the Mega Hex beats him, and quick thing there, the Mega Hex guy, he has the Kiwami Lock Seed, and Daily Sex Machina to the rescue. He inserts it into himself, and Kota is either revived or he's actually been hiding, or his spirit or himself. Turns out Kota wasn't dead. He's actually been inside the Kiwami Lock Seed this whole time, waiting for an opportunity to break out. And so yeah, now we have a view of 3 riders. The main rider, the tertiary rider, and the extra rider. And they take on Mega Hex from here. And in this is a dual plot movie, but God, do I love the Gaim part. I just enjoy like I said, this is my second time watching this movie, and yet I still enjoy it. Oh, my sinuses. I don't know why, but after this, I'm going to take a shower. But, either way, now moving on to the drive portion of the movie. The whole point of this half is Drive and Company have to capture and arrest a legendary mid-20th century phantom thief who just so happens to be a Roymute. Yeah, I'm going to talk about this, not gonna lie, I'm going to talk about this half of the drive portion, but not getting more, it may or may not, so I'm just going to give the highlights of the drive portion, because I remember the first time around I watched this half of the movie, I thought it was a little bit boring until a certain point, but the second time around, I totally enjoyed it a lot more. But yeah, the villain in this half of the movie is the ultimate phantom thief, Lupin, who just so happens to be a Roymute. So like I said, so Lupin turns out to be a Roy-mute, but he's not fully, well, he didn't actually start out as a Roy-mute, because this part actually gives good backstory for Mr. Belt, as well as Lupin, too, or I guess it gives us a history between Mr. Belt and Lupin, I guess. Not entirely sure. Because Lupin was first, because Lupin is actually a human, but once he reached an old age, he found Mr. Belt's castle and the cyberoid body, which Mr. Belt couldn't use because he didn't have the mental capability to do so, but Lupin did, and so he fused himself with the cyberoid body so he can avoid getting old and just still run around being a phantom thief and a bastard. Yeah, Lupin, for a villain, he's, how do I describe him? He's like Loki. Not from the Avengers, but from Greek mythology. He's like that Loki. He's a jokester and whatnot, always pulling pranks. But that's not true. That's not a good comparison. But you know what I mean. He is a pisser because he pisses off everyone. He pisses off Drive. He pisses off the police. He even pisses off Chase. And so we're going to talk about that right now because Lupin becomes a Kamen Rider. Kamen Rider Lupin. Let's talk about his suit. I've seen pictures of his suit before, but I don't know. I've looked at his suit before this, so I can do that again. Because when I see Lupin's suit, I first thought it was a bit flashy for a phantom thief. But I don't know, I guess. But when I look at it like one more time, the red part of the suit sort of reminds me of Heart. And so it's pretty flashy with the jewels on it and the hat. That's a black diamond. But yeah, I guess. Like, the suit's not bad, but it's alright. Now, Lupin overall as a character, he pisses everyone off. He even pisses off Chase because he even pisses off Chase and he even beats him in a fight. So yeah, he's kind of terrible. And next, also, this is another thing. Just if I can just get off the plot for a second. Whenever Shinosuke has an out of suit fight in this movie, now one sec, I need to get something to drink. Alright, I'm back. Oh my god, ow, hair. Okay, hair. Where'd that even come from? Yeah, still press record. Where was I? Oh yeah. Whenever Shinosuke... Oh yeah, I wanted to get off plot for a second, just to pay attention to this one detail. Because whenever Shinosuke has an out-of-suit fight in this movie, he immediately just gets his ass kicked. Like, I'm not kidding. The first fight that he has with Lupin's like kicking him or something, and Shinosuke is like flailing his hands, like he wants to say, like, don't hit me. And that's so weird because, come on, you've been fighting monsters at this point. You have to be able to get like one hit in. But no, like Lupin, he just kicks his ass anytime they're out of suit. But either way, Lupin beats Shinosuke, and the moment he's about to shoot him, this is something that made my jaw and my heart dropped. Mr. Belt, he jumps off Shinosuke's waist, takes the bullet, sacrificing himself. And I'm sitting here like distraught, talking to my screen like, "You evil bastard." And yeah, I'm still wondering how. I don't know. Are the straps on the belt his limbs? Because he just hopped right off as if a magnet was as if he was reaching the direction of a magnet, but took the bullet because how? You just sacrificed yourself and you're a belt, yet I feel some type of way about this. This is, wow. I dropped when I saw Mr. Belt die. And that was such a turning point in this half for me. because Shinosuke grieves and is out of confidence, and it takes the shift cars themselves to tell him that this isn't what Mr. Belt would have wanted. And so Shinosuke, he gets it together and finds Lupin and discovers where Lupin is and cracks the case in a style of way that's done basically, how do I describe? It's Clue. It's like the game when Shinosuke exposes Lupin, it's done in the form of way like in the game Clue, because he has everyone in a room. He points at Kiriko and says, It's you, Lupin." And it turns out it is Lupin. And it turns out it is Lupin. And he's been working from the inside the whole time. And the real Kiriko happens to be tied up, I guess, spiderwebs from top of this building, and is about to fall. So Shinosuke goes to fight Lupin and save Kiriko at the same time to show he really is a KamenRider. And immediately, let me think. How do I say this? Okay, yeah, now I know how to say it. Lupin kicks Shinosuke's ass again. Shinosuke then falls off this balloon this hovercraft of balloons that Lupin is on. Shinosuke is falling from the sky, and he turns, and he's still using his belt to turn back on Mr. Belt, and it works. He turns back on Mr. Belt, they transform, and use Trideron to save Kiriko. So, and from there, Shinosuke and Lupin, they have their final fight, with Chase helping Drive, because before Drive beats Lupin, he wasn't gonna let that shit go from earlier. So they fight, and Drive finally defeats Lupin and gets his confidence back as a KamenRider. And there's this other thing with Lupin and all, about how when he defeated or supposedly killed Mr. Belt, he took the title of KamenRider. The only reason why I didn't mention that is because that part I thought was ridiculous, because being a KamenRider isn't something that you take or possess. It's something that you do and are. And I thought that the fact that they fought to earn the title was, from one or another, was stupid. Yeah. But when Lupin falls defeated, he's very respectable about it. Like, well, I guess I did lose. I return the title of KamenRider back to you and Explosion. And now we get to and now we're there at the usual, oh, hey, look, it's the actual main villains of the movie in the drive portion, which doesn't just go as, hey, I see a villain, go after it. No, the core that Lupin had, it's then absorbed by the Mega Hex, or at least the one guy that's a Mega Hex, and he leaves the scene from there with Drive following him. Now, finally moving on to the team-up part of the movie, because where we last left off, like, Kota and Party, they triple rider kicked Mega Hex, but he was still okay, and then he produces an army of Roy Mutes and Inves for them to all fight. And then Drive comes in, and finally, and Gaim and Drive get associated. This is why I put out only 2 videos a week. Talking a lot takes a lot of air out of me. So yeah, Gaim and Drive, they get associated, and Mega Hex finally brings back my favorite character, Kaito. He brings back Kaito, and boy does he look like he holds a grudge. And then Kaito immediately turns on Mega Hex because he disagrees with what he's doing. And so all 5 riders, the 2 main riders, the tertiary, all the riders, the 2 main riders, the tertiary rider, the extra rider, and finally the secondary rider, all fight together. But to deal with the one Mega Hex that absorbed the core, Gaim and Drive go deal with him, while the Roy Mutes, Heart, Brain, and Chase, they come to fight the Mega Hex instead because they also disagree with what they're doing. So, because individuality is more important than being one being, and I totally agree with that. So, Gaim and Drive, they go fight the one Mega Hex, and Mai comes to their aid to help them by giving them our movie exclusive forms. Now, Drive Arms and Type Fruit on Stage. I'm going to talk about them now. Drive Arms, I'm not the biggest fan of because, I don't know, it's just not for me. Also, it looks like Drive's head just came down, broke apart, and they put a body in the middle to attach its brain back together. And that thing that he has on his head is, oh. But Type Fruit, though, it looks a bit silly at first, but I sort of like it now. Probably because you never really see orange anywhere. Like, in like a tokusatsu series in general. Except on like... Yeah, because I like it because, yeah, never really see orange anywhere in like a tokusatsu series, like in general, unless on occasion. Because at this point, those occasions are KamenRider Ghost. Because on occasion, because with now, those occasions are KamenRider Ghost, Takuger, Zooger, Q Ranger, KamenRider Build, because that one form, Hawk Gatling. So yeah, I don't know. It looks good. It has the Agamisa hat that he has on. It looks pretty useful if he used it for a hoverboard or something, which he doesn't. But yeah, it's fine looking. And with said forms, they defeat the Mega Hex, but the core now goes to the Mega Hex planet, and they learned that with Tritoron, the only way to stop the enemies once and for all is to destroy the planet. So, and that's what they do. They use Tritoron. I should get up now and not lean on my chair from like the one side with like half of my butt and leg. Either way, they use Tritoron, they go out into space. And real quick right now, the fight scenes in this movie are great. They're good choreographed. They seem out of sync a little bit, but I'm fine with that because I like out of sync fights because it shows more individuality. But the final fight in this movie where Tritoron is driving on the Mega Hex with like enemies coming at it, the banter that Gaim and Drive give while Drive is driving, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. And there's some bits that are funny too, like Tritoron squeezes out orange juice to get into the one flying enemy's eyes so that it'll crash down. That's funny. And the orange slices, they're pretty good too. The orange juice one was pretty hilarious. And with that said, when they destroy the Mega Hex planet, it is Gaim and Drive both doing rider kicks into the planet while Tritoron is ramming itself into the planet Mega Hex while both Gaim and Drive are rider kicking it. And that's how the planet is defeated. And at the end of this movie, Gaim and Mai finally say goodbye to their friends, and Lupin is still alive because he has a viral core. And that is this movie. On second watch, I enjoyed the entirety of it because it's so much fun. Yeah. It puts stuff to bed with Gaim and the story with Lupin and all, it's enjoyable. Like what I said, I didn't enjoy it on my first watch until Mr. Belt died. But on second watch, it was more amusing to me. Because it already holds elements that's already in the show. Like, Shinosuke is a great cop. And he keeps running forward despite what brings him down. But yeah, that is the movie War Full Throttle. And I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed doing this. And really, I needed to think of something for today because I had so many ideas in mind, but I wanted to find something that worked. And so I just rewatched this movie and I thought, okay, this is good. It's a fun. It is a good movie. Trust me, this is one of my favorite team-up movies before they got different with Ghost and Drive next year. The ones we got, the Gaim and Drive movie, my personal favorite with this type of formula. And honestly, yeah. And honestly, I usually find like team-up movies like these from early on are a bit confusing because one half is always more important than the other half. And not wrong there because it feels like the Gaim portion was a lot more important and actually was more important than the Drive portion because the actual main villains of the movie are the big thing, and they make it the big thing and they make it a big thing at the very end as well. So, yeah. But like I said, I enjoy this movie. There's great action, good fights. There are good continuity. The stories are sweet. It still keeps that tone of Gaim. The stories are sweet. It keeps that tone of Gaim. And it's highly recommended. So, that's my review. Go check it out. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone. Hey, hello, everyone. Before I ended the video, don't pay attention to my sinking kitchen. I just wanted to take a moment to thank everyone that has subscribed to my channel this week. It's not a lot, but now I'm up to, say, 12 subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing. You really boosted my numbers up. And, I don't know, it just makes me happy. When I saw that I got, like, up to 12 subscribers, it just made me happy and thankful for everyone that's watching us so far. Because it's a good feeling, realizing that it's just good feeling. And just thank you guys so much. As always, I also did this video to mention what I usually say at always the end of my videos. Leave a comment down below what you like, what you don't like. Make sure I like the video. Subscribe if you want to see more content. I most definitely will do more movie reviews in the future since I enjoyed doing this one. But yeah. Thank you this week for the 12 subscribers. You know how it's been a good feeling. It's a good boost of confidence for me with what I'm doing because I've been doing this for like a month now and I finally got to rise up. And the one popular video I honestly do have is my review of the second episode of ZO. Up to 700 subscribers on YouTube, so not up to 700 views on YouTube, not 700 subscribers. So yeah, the episode 2 review of ZO that I have, up to 700 views on YouTube. I can finally say that, and yay! But that's all I have to say. Thank you guys so much. Stick around. The next review I will do is, as always, the KamenRider ZO reviews. And that's about it. See ya.